Now, I've watched Maddie pitch all season long, but I wanted to see just how deadly she was in the circle. While Troy won't be able to cheer on his favorite Bison from Memorial Stadium anymore, he still has plenty of time to cheer him on right here in the gym. It takes less than 30 minutes to donate blood, but for the families that benefit from it, it lasts a lifetime. When you come to a Wrestlers volleyball game, you're bound to recognize senior middle blocker Allie Olson. Whether it's her 6'3" frame or her curly blonde hair, she tends to stand out. Reportando en Centene, Hailey Sutton, SWX Montana. Troy Ross is this week's Montana treasure. Reporting in Great Falls, Hailey Sutton, Montana right now.
Troy strong!
Taylor Ty, according to the Red Cross, every 2 seconds someone in the United States needs blood. And for a while, so did Troy Ross. He's been battling a very rare disease for the last 2 years, but now his family is hoping to use his condition to help save the lives of others. From the outside looking in, Troy Ross is just a normal 5-year-old. He likes to dance, play with his favorite toys, and of course, annoy his older sister Kennedy. But in reality, Troy is fighting an internal battle every single day.
He was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder in September of 2017. He was one of 8 diagnosed surviving cases in the United States. There's less than a dozen kids that have contracted this.
It's called pulmonary capillaritis.
Troy's immune system, for some weird reason, started attacking his lung tissue, which then led to inflammation inside of his lungs. Inflammation then led to capillaries bursting, and essentially he was drowning in his own blood.
I had no idea, and I cried when my mom cried, and I had no idea why.
The last 2 years have been filled with various hospital visits, doctor's appointments, and long nights of trying to figure out how to keep their little Troy alive.
He needed 9 units of blood when he got to Seattle, and what was really scary was if that blood hadn't been there, I wouldn't have a son anymore.
Now, the Rosses have made it their priority to bring awareness to diseases like pulmonary capillaritis and what it takes to help treat such a condition. That's when they created the Troy Strong Blood Drive.
We wanted to find a way that we could pay back this emotional, financial, spiritual support that we received. Our goal with this is to give back, help the next person in need, and make sure that there's never a shortage.
The drive made stops in all the major Montana towns, including Havre, Billings, Kalispell, Helena, Missoula, Bozeman, and wrapped up right here in Great Falls. The turnout was more than the Ross family could have ever imagined. It takes less than 30 minutes to donate blood, but for the families that benefit from it, it lasts a lifetime.
We're on, target to get like 150 donations, which really is like 450 lives that are impacted by this.
Along the way, they've gained support from several people, even getting an official letter from Governor Steve Bullock himself.
He has kind of made himself a little part of everybody's heart in Montana. It's been pretty awesome.
Although the drive was named in Troy's honor, the Ross family says they don't want the focus to be on him, but rather how his story can impact those around him.
We want it to be about how we can pay it forward and help other families.
I truly believe a miracle happened. There's no explanation why Troy was here. He's defied odds, and he's still here with us today, and he's truly fighting hard to be Troy Strong.
Troy Ross is this week's Montana treasure. Reporting in Great Falls, Hailey Sutton, Montana right now.
Troy strong!
Callie says there were 181 successful donation units last week, which means 543 lives were impacted. If you want more information on how to donate blood, you can visit redcross.org. Welcome back to the show. Being an athlete can be difficult. You're balancing practice and school and trying to have a social life, something that Centerville quarterback Carson McGinnis is all too familiar with. However, 2 years ago, his responsibilities became bigger than just leading the offense. He had to learn how to raise a child.
First thing that went through my head was like how to balance everything.
Carson McGinnis is a household name in the Centerville community.
He's going to be playing quarterback for us again this year. He's been doing it since freshman year, so he's got that knowledge and experience in it.
Over the last 3 years, McGinnis has helped lead the Miners to a 17-10 overall record on the football field. But back in 2017, his life was changed forever.
Looked up to my mom at a really young age because I needed her help right away. But thinking back, I had to figure out how I'm going to be the best dad I can be with finishing high school because, I need to get somewhere in life if I want to be a good dad, have a good life for her, have the money that we need to actually raise a family together. And, that's stressed as going into a sophomore in high school. You're not ready for that at all.
Finding out you're going to be a parent at any age is stressful, but it didn't stop McGinnis from chasing his dreams on the gridiron. Even on the day Adeline Marie came into the world.
The day she was born, that's when we actually released the news to everybody. It was actually game day against Sims was when everybody found out, so it was a big day. I was at the hospital in the morning. She was like the day before, spent all night awake. It's a pretty pressure situation. But then the next day when she was born, I came back and played Sims, had a great game and finished the day, and everybody figured it out, and it was probably one of the best days. I'll never forget it.
From the beginning, Adeline was a blessing for the family.
I think the first thing that describes her for people that know her, she's pretty crazy. Looks exactly like me, got the curly hair like me, but she's smart. She's smarter than an average 1-year-old. She runs around. She loves watching football. She'll sit on the couch with me at home and watch football. She cheers for all sports.
And while the excitement of a new baby was exhilarating, it was also exhausting, challenging, and at times overwhelming. But coming together as a family has been the most precious gift.
Growing up as a high school kid, you get to go out, have fun times, go out, hang out with your pals, all that fun stuff. But, as a parent, it's the ultimate sacrifice. You have to stay there and, raise the child, teach her these things. But, yeah, it's honestly a blessing, though. I miss hanging out with the guys every weekend, everything. But, there's no place I'd rather be than helping the little one out. She's in the family that we're raising together. It's amazing. I have a lot of help from family. That's the biggest thing. If I didn't have them, probably would have to give up sports, and that'd be a dream killer. She's just such a good kid that it makes everything easy.
Now in his senior year, McGinnis is planning for the future. He says he's in talks with teams to play college football, while his girlfriend and Adeline's mother, Kennedy, will be leaving for college in Bozeman, which makes things a little trickier when it comes to raising a young family. But he says these new challenges will only pay off in the end.
Football is obviously the dream, and if you can't make football out, you have to actually have a second option in life, which is where you want to go. And we're just make the most of the time we have until we can actually get to where we want to be and always together, because we have to go through the tough times now to actually get to where the good times roll around.
He's had to grow up quick, in that situation. It's kind of forced him to mature and grow up, and you can see it this year. He's taken that leadership role. Handling it a lot better as a senior now with that experience of fatherhood, so he's doing a great job.
Carson says he plans to follow in the footsteps of his family and study something in the medical field, and he hopes to inspire little Adeline to grow up smart and to always chase her dreams just like he's chasing his. Hey guys, welcome back out to Centene Stadium. As always, I'm Hailey Sutton. We got a big ball game coming up tonight. It's game 2 of 3 in the series against the Billings Mustangs. Now, we talked a lot about it yesterday. The Spacemen desperately needing a win tonight. They have to get back into the win column. It's been a painful start to the season for the hometown team, as they've now lost 9 of their last 10 games, adding to their losing streak last night in the 9-1 loss to the Stangs. Now, I haven't had a chance to catch up with manager Tim Esme, as they've been mostly on the road for the last 2 weeks, but I can tell you from looking at the numbers, a huge problem is at the plate. That's right, batting, especially against the Mustangs. So far in their 2 series with Billings this year, the Voyagers have been outscored 23-9. Only putting up 1 run in each of the last 2 games. So if the Spacemen want to be successful today, they have to make good contact early and often. Some things we're paying attention to tonight for the Eagles. Number 1, the starting QB, Keely Bake. He'll get his first start as quarterback after playing backup for Ryder Meyer last year. So it'll be interesting to see how he runs the offense this year. And ultimately, tonight's game is going to set the tone for the rest of the season. Anytime you see this guy, you know what time it is. It's game day, baby. The Voyagers hosting game 2 with the Billings Mustangs. We'll talk more about that matchup coming up in sports. Game time's at 7, but in the meantime, I'm going to take part and be one of those 150 million people to eat a hot dog on 4th of July. That's your check on sports. We'll be right back. Howdy, y'all. Welcome out to beautiful Montana Expo Park. It's a lovely day to visit the fair, but it's an even more lovely day to check out the rodeo. The Big Sky PRCA Rodeo is finally in Great Falls. We got some big names headlining tonight. First on the docket, Pascal Isabel out of Alberta, Canada. He'll be doing bareback riding after a successful ride last week in Lewistown. And then for team roping, you got the duo of Travis Tryon and Justin Viles out of the Southeast Montana area. Always a good time when you hear the Tryon name on the list. Welcome into the SWX studio. We've gotten to know the Shrine players pretty well this week, but we don't know a lot about the head coach. But don't worry, rather than me tell you all about him, I'll let Team East help you get to know Mr. Les Meyer.
So the punt is going to come from downfield. The Arkansas punter sends it down to a waiting Keegan Brewer, and you'll look, especially in the slow-mo, there's no signal for a fair catch, a little bit of hand movement, but other than that, he's good to go. As you can see, once we speed it back up, gives a couple of steps forward, and then he is off to the races.
We'll start off today's show with a little bit of good news coming from Class C football. Now, according to Lewistown News, the board voted unanimously to allow 2 players to join the Golden Eagles football team, and MHSA officially approved it as well. Now, their first time to suit up will be against Billings Central, the defending state champions, and that'll be on September 6th. The players will be changing from 6-man football to 11-man, so we'll be checking in with them later in the year about those changes. So all week long, we've been checking in at the 3rd annual Josh Hustis basketball camp over at CMR. However, the NBA free agent has been doing a lot of traveling this week around the Electric City. Well, I hope that intro got you ready for basketball, but tonight we are talking football. Welcome to the Friday Night Frenzy. I'm Hailey Sutton alongside Leo Goldman. We're going to take a quick water break, but we'll be right back with some Class C action. The Troy Strong Blood Drive is headed to the High Line tomorrow, and the Ross family will have some special volunteers joining them. After rain-soaked conditions this week in the Electric City, the Great Falls Voyagers hope to pick up some momentum on the road. However, a late rally from the Rockies proved to be the difference for Grand Junction as they picked up a 5-4 victory to begin this series. For those of you who are really into the draft, like myself, rounds 4 through 7 begin on Saturday at 10 a.m., and we will also be carrying that right here on ABC. So we've seen a lot of softball and track the last few weeks, but one thing we really haven't seen a lot is rodeo. But that changed tonight at the Four Seasons Arena as they played host to the final college rodeo of the season. Anytime you see the cows, you know what time it is, folks. The 2019 Big Sky Regional Finals touching down in the Electric City. We'll start with a little bareback riding. Third rider up is Sean Perkins from Montana State. He holds on for dear life and was rewarded with a 72 on the board. Now in the first quarter, almost looking for his man, got him. Levi Torgerson with the catch and hurdle for the first down. And almost going to find a hole in the defense. Look at this, folks. Flips the shovel pass to Trey Short, and he is gone, folks. Great Falls High puts up 7. Now a lightning delay stopped this one with 4:33 left in the second.
Check out this magical moment on the pitch. We're going to get to that later on, but first, the counter attack heard around the world. Daniel Hudsby with the ball from the back. Sparks this attack, finds Adrian Gomez streaking downfield. Takes a few touches, and it's a goal. Argos, they go up 1-0. First points of the game, it's Caleb Currington on the steal. A smooth finish by the senior. The crowd goes wild, and the Rustlers throwing a block party. Kyle Torgerson, guess what? You're invited because he's shut down by Bryce Depping. The one-handed swat. Before the meet, the Argos celebrated senior night, but the lights ready to crash the party. We open at the 141 mark. TJ Bond taking on number 1 Matt Weber. Controversy early on. The Argos believe that should have been a takedown, but the ref says no, so this one goes to OT, and Weber outlasts Bond 3-1. That's your check on sports. We'll be right back.